Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm finally able to get in here and share with you my most recent room refresh. This has been a room that the refresh has been long overdue. I decided to join in on the one room challenge recently because I needed something that was going to hold me accountable for getting in here and getting the project done. I've had a very busy schedule over the last couple of months, so I felt like I needed something that was going to give me that extra push to get it done. And I'm glad I did because the room feels so good now. So before we get started, I'll share with you my inspiration for the space. It's a small boutique hotel that my husband and I stayed at about a year ago. We loved everything about that hotel. It was an old mill that they had revived. And so it was full of wood beams, it was full of metal, brass. It had a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rushing river on the back side of it. So most of the rooms you could hear the sound of the river, and if not, because you had the windows closed, you could see it. And so while it had this industrial like feel to it, it also had a very serene and calm feel, tons of nature around it. It was just absolutely beautiful. So there were a few things that I did in this room to give a special nod to that hotel, and dare I say it, I feel like it's made such a difference in the room, not just because the room is refreshed, but the choice of things that I chose to do in here because of what I felt and experienced at that boutique hotel. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into what I did in the space. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you're new here, feel free to share this with someone else so that they may find me here in the community. And again, if you have any questions about anything that I share here, feel free to put it in the comment box. If you just want to make a comment, feel free to put that in the comment box as well. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get to it. One of my main goals for this room was to raise the height of the ceiling without actually raising the height of the ceiling. And outside of the paint color, one of the ways that I did that was bringing in these mirrored tile pieces, because that's what they are. They're a little bit flexible, so they're not like the hard mirror. Um, but I love the fact that they have this brown kind of splatter all over it. I will add these in the description box. I will add a link to them. I can tell you that they had a couple of different options there, where there might have been some that had ink blots on them or paint splatter, and just different design styles and different colors. This is the color and the design style that I landed on because I loved the brown in it. It definitely adds to that warm feel that I was trying to get, without bringing in so much wood. The hotel was filled with wood beams and metals, and it was so beautiful. But I couldn't bring all of that into the space, so I had to improvise and bring some things in that would still give me somewhat that feel, but at the same time, complement the room with a luxe like feel. So I was able to do that by bringing in these mirrored tile pieces, because you have the mirror here, which is like that hint of glam, and it's playing peekaboo with the brown. Now, these are adhesive mirrors that go directly on the wall, and you could butt them up against each other where they'll look like one big mirror piece. But I really didn't want to do that. I really love the idea of breaking it up, and I wanted to put them in frames because I did not want to disturb the wall. I painted the walls in here and it's so fresh, and so I didn't want to put adhesive on it already. So I decided to go with these frames. And these, I'm going to put the frames in the description box for you as well. These came 3 to a box. The mirrored pieces came as 6 to a box. So it's a total of 12 up here. But I absolutely love this. I think it was a phenomenal way to raise the height of the room and to quickly draw the eyes up when someone enters the space. So I'm very, very happy with how this turned out. So I'm going to show you the other thing that I used to bring a little bit more height into the space. It also is a major nod to the boutique hotel that we stayed in. All right, so here's the other thing that I bought into the space to help raise the height of the room. That would be this wood beam here. I've mentioned a couple times already, they had wood beams all throughout the hotel. And in the hallway area, they had some in the rooms as well, but in the hallway area, they had wood beams going up the side and then across the top of the hall. And I just really love the effect that that gave. Plus, wood is such a warm addition to a space. It has a heavy feel to it, though. So I wanted to make sure that I did not add wood in too many places or in the wrong place where it would take away from the height of the room and also just the openness of the space. Because it is a small room, instead of me running the beam across the top of the ceiling, I decided to run it along the side of the wall and just in the corner over here where the closet is and where I decided to put a little seating area at, so it could be a nice little accent. I think it did just what it was supposed to do by elongating the space. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Now, initially I put the beam up there, but I didn't have the black accent on it. I sat with it for a couple of days and loved what it looks like and determined that I was not going to take it down. It was giving me everything that I wanted it to give, but I still felt like something was missing. So I found these little black straps. They're like black faux leather straps, and I found them on Amazon and used them to wrap them around the beam in a couple of areas so it could help give the full on look of beam and metal. And I love the way that it turned out. It feels really good to have the black accent. It definitely connected the beam to other areas of the room because I have black accents positioned throughout the space. So this is another thing that I did. So between the beam here and the mirrored panels on the wall, definitely elevated the height of the space. Now, I also wanted to bring in some artwork that was fun, that was a little bit different from things that I usually add to my rooms, but also would give a great nod to that old boutique hotel, old but new boutique hotel. And so I found this art piece. I actually found this at Home Store and I fell in love with it. Now I'm gonna make a little bit of an alteration to it, and I'll share that at a later date. But I loved the direction that this was going in, and I think it fit the room perfectly. It has that old newspaper feel, which definitely leans heavily into that whole vintage vibe. And I love what it's added to the space. So putting this right here in the corner, and I went light with the artwork because I did not want to suffocate the room with a lot of art. Could I have added more throughout the space? I could have, but I really wanted certain things to stand out, and really be the focal point of the room. So I didn't want to take away from that, but just adding so many different art pieces. I may do one more art piece in the near future, but it's not anything that I feel like I just necessarily have to do. So, the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about would be none other than the lights. I'll share with you what we decided to do with these. These are actually supposed to be hardwired. I'm a sucker for not hardwiring my lights. So I found these. It's like they were waiting on me when I got in the store. I was actually looking for some pendants that I could put on the ceiling and have them hang down alongside the bed over the little table, and I couldn't find the ones that spoke to me. So when I walked in the store, instead of me finding those, these two were just sitting there all by their lonesome. It was an outlet store. So you know how that can go sometimes. It just so happened to be two of them. They were sitting up and they were in perfect sync with one another and me. So I was like, it's like they were meant for me. Checked them out. There were no dings, there were no scrapes. And of course, I bought them home. So I found these for 40 something bucks a piece. I think that was a steal because these are gorgeous. They're very unique, they're different, and they give a beautiful, beautiful nod to the industrial vibe of the hotel. Industrial, but also there's this luxe feel to them. I also think something like this, these three things, the artwork, the light, and the wood beam, I also think something like that would be like lovely in something like a speakeasy. But they worked so well in here together. I was like, I hit the jackpot with them. So I'm going to show you what kind of lights we have in here. Okay, here's the light that we're using in that sconce. It is a smart light. So what I love about it, it does come with a remote and it makes it so you don't have to hardwire any of your fixtures. So we didn't have to, run extra cords and electricity, things like that to get those on the side of the bed. Um, that's me turning it on with the remote. It also has a button on the light as well that you can hit and turn it off and on that way. So I'm going to turn it back on. And then with the remote, you'll see that it can go cool in color, it can go warm in color, and then it can go, there's cool, there's warm, there's super warm. And I just love what these lights allow me to do. They give me so much flexibility when it comes to that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this fixture, I just hit the on button there. I'm going to put this in there. And like I said, they give me so much flexibility. Put that in there. Which way am I? Righty tighty, lefty loosey. That is the golden rule. Okay, so I just put it in there and then I'm gonna turn it on. Then it operates both lights. So this one comes on as well on the other side. So one remote, both lights. We just keep it here on the side table. And again, you can change the color tones in there. That's warm. That's this is that was super warm. This is warm, and this is bright. This is like the cold color. So I actually like this middle color here. But love, love, love what they bring to the space. I'm gonna put these in the description box. We actually have this light bulb in another space as well. And I don't think we could have gone wrong with adding these to the room. So I love what the sconce gives to the space there. And again, I'm going to put the lights in the description box for you for anybody that may have some interest in them. All right, now let's talk about this seating area here. I always say I am a huge sucker for having a seating area in a bedroom, even if the space is small. I always feel like if I can squeeze one in without causing a major disruption in the space, I'm going to try to squeeze one in. And so that's what I was able to do with this small accent chair here. A lot of times, I don't think people are as honest with themselves about the furniture pieces and how comfortable they are. And so I can honestly say with this chair alone, it's not as comfortable. I have quite a few very comfy accent chairs, so I know what a comfortable accent chair feels like. And I can be honest with myself and say that this one as a standalone does not feel incredibly comfortable. So it needed something additional to help it have that feel. So I went out and I found an ottoman that I thought worked well with the chair and the room. Definitely not an exact match to it, but it does contrast just a little bit. It's a little bit lighter than the chair. The material is a little bit different. And here's the other thing that I love about this ottoman. It is a storage ottoman. So you know how we feel about storage and having multifunctional pieces. This is great because you can put books in here. You can put additional throw blankets in here, or whatever you want to put in here. So I think this is perfect. Now, as far as I'm going to turn that off and then turn the other one off over here. Okay, let's talk about what I did on the bed here to give it a different look and feel. I found this gorgeous quilt set. It's just the pillow sham and then the quilt itself. It is velvet And it's a little bit different material on the inside of it, but it still feels very good. It's velvet on one side. You know, some blankets come with the same material on both sides. This one is velvet on the top side, and then on the inside, it's a little bit different of material. It's like the typical quilt material on the inside, but very nice. When the sun hits it, the light hits it, it gives off a slight sheen to it, and it's incredibly soft. So very happy with that. And then I kept the big brown blanket that I typically have on this bed. I decided to keep that, but I folded it and wrapped it across the foot of the bed because I like to keep it on Antarctica at nighttime in the house. And so we have guests, they're definitely going to need some additional covers to warm them up while they're sleeping. So I folded that across the bed. It is a nice accent to the white, so you can get really creative with your blankets and your sheets. A lot of you know that, of course. But I thought I'd just point it out for the person who's just getting around to starting to play around with doing things in their space that they don't normally do, to give it, you know, a luxurious feel or a just a more elevated feel. What I really want to chat about are these pillow covers. These are beyond gorgeous. I came across these online and it was like, stop, do not pass go. You need them. So I got them. They come as a set of two. I ordered two sets because I needed three. And for those of you who are wondering, these are 26 by 26-inch pillows. What I love about it, it has dimension. There is a almost like a basket weave design, and it has this slightly ombre effect to it. There's a mixture of neutral taupe color and then a lighter tan color, but with a completely gray undertone to it. It is just gorgeous. So this was like a given. I loved it because not only did it have the colors that I was in love with and the textures, but I think it is a nice play on the design that's on the mirrors here. This is more elevated and this is more toned down. And I just love the combination of the two. So I layered a back row of pillows here, then did a middle row, and then the front row, and then just did a little accent pillow here. Of course, you don't have to do that many pillows, but I have come to really love having a bunch of pillows on my bed because they just elevate the look of the bed, and I really love that. I know a lot of people say they hate the idea of having to move a ton of pillows, and for some people it may not be practical, but for me, I love it, and I think I'm going to be doing it for a really long time. All right, so let's chat about this side of the room. Some of you guys might say, oh, it's super plain over there, but I really, like I said, wanted to not take away from the things that I wanted to be front and center and the focal point of the room. And I've just really been feeling the simplistic vibe. So I need to have some focal pieces, but I also want to feel the simplicity of the room. So I kept everything pretty much the same on this side, with the exception of bringing in this faux tree. I had it in another area in the house, and I definitely wanted to have some greenery in here. So I had to shop my house and bought this one in, and I love it. It goes all the way up to the ceiling, and it adds a nice little accent to this room. This fireplace is the same that I've had in here since we moved into the house. I didn't want to move that as well. It's multifunctional. It doubles as a television console, and the fireplace operates by remote control, and it's just lovely. So even though we don't have to really run a fireplace in California where we are, the idea of having it and being able to turn it on, it's an electric fireplace. It's just we love that. So we can still set the mood, set the vibe, and give a little bit of ambiance to the space when it's winter time out here. When it's getting darker a lot earlier and you're going to be just kind of relaxing in your room, you can turn this on and totally set a mood. I kept the top of the console pretty empty. I bought in my faux candles, which I'll try to link those as well. I've had these candles for maybe about 8 years now. I've had them a long time and they still work. They're battery operated. They do come with a remote control as well. So I'll try to link those. They do come on, and these are the ones that have the little wick in the center where you can actually turn it to a setting and the wick will move as if there's a real burning flame here. But I love these. They also help set the mood and the vibe and give a little bit more ambiance to the space. So yeah, kept it very simple over here. And then this mirror you see right here is one of my pieces that I feel like this is one of my conversation pieces. I love to talk about this mirror because I paid $25 for this big baby. I found it at a consignment shop about 15 years ago and it has not disappointed. Instead of me, I thought about taking it out of the room, but after I started putting everything together in here, this played so well with the decor and the feel and the theme in here, because of the big trim work that's around the mirror, and it is wood, and the color of it. It was like, don't take it out. It needs to be in here. So it definitely plays well with the whole space, and that's all that I did in here. One more thing that I did. All right, you guys. So I almost forgot to talk about the paint color that I added to the wall. This is called Greek Villa. I put two colors on the wall and I gave Snowbound a chance as well. And when I put them next to each other, I put them in a block on this side, also on the wall behind me. There's a nice big window in the room, and there's also a house that sits right next to my house, and they have a very strong paint color on the outside of their house. And I think that paint color also makes a difference on what the color in the room is going to look like when the sun hits it. So I kept all of that in mind. I watched the paint over a couple of days, morning, afternoon, and evening, to see how it was going to interact with the sunlight coming into this room in particular. I think with whatever space that you decide to paint, I think that is a good practice to do, because you just never know what factors might play into causing that paint color to look a little bit different in that particular space. So, because I had a couple of different factors going on here, I wanted to make sure that I was going to love the paint color morning, afternoon, in evening and night when the overhead light comes on. And I landed on the Greek Villa. I am very thrilled with this color. A lot of the other colors in the house, as I've been transitioning from the dark to the light, are nuance. Nuance has a bit of a green undertone to it, but I'm also a lover of green, so that's not a bad thing for me. But this has a very warm tone to it, so when the light hits it at a certain time of the day, it does give off a pretty warm feel to it. So again, I'm going to say, depending on the room, the space that you're going to be painting, the best practice I think would be good to do is to put that paint sample on the wall, sit with it over a couple of days, and see how that color interacts with the sunlight that's going to be coming into the room, whether it's going to be sunshine, it's going to be an overcast, cloudy. You want to see how the room is going to feel with those different temperature colors. Now, for rooms that don't have windows in them and all you need to be worried about is the overhead light, you may not have to let it sit that long. You put it on the wall and then you turn on your overhead light and you see what that feels like. And if it's something that you think you would be happy with, then you go for it. So yeah, I love the color. I love how this room turned out overall, and I'm incredibly, incredibly, incredibly thrilled with the feel and the look of the space. And I'm just over the moon, ecstatic at the fact that I was able to give some nods to this hotel that my husband and I stayed at, because it felt so amazing. And just adding those little things in this space, I do think have made the world of difference in what it feels like in here. Well, that's it, you guys. That's all I've done in this room. I really wanted to show that you don't have to bust down walls. You don't have to really make these huge structural changes to get a different feel and look in the room. Many of us know paint has this superpower and it can transform the look of a space almost instantly without ever even doing anything else in the room. So I knew when I added the new paint color that it was going to make the world of a difference in here. But bringing in accent pieces from from one of our favorite places that we rested our heads at has been, I think, such a plus to the space. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for coming back and watching, and also for everybody on here. I hope that you guys will share with others so that they may find me in the community. And again, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, I hope that you will hit the like button and subscribe and share with others so that they may find me here in the community. Bye now.